Hello everyone and welcome to the next episode of Solar Sidekicks. My name is Pat Southwell and I'll be your host throughout this show, and we'll be talking everything that is going on in the small scale solar industry. We are doing this at Radio Carrum, which is at Roy Door Reserve. Radio Carrum is a community radio station and we love Radio Carrum to death. Very supportive of my Solar Sidekicks podcast and absolutely love being here and being part of the community. First of all, I would like to acknowledge the traditional landowners of where we're recording this today, and that is the Boonwurrung people of the Kulin Nation. And I pay my respects to all elders, past, present, and emerging. Last week, we had Reese Kennedy on as the guest. I called him the big dog for a reason, and he's leading the way in the solar industry, especially down in Melbourne. Him and Christine run such a great show, and it was really good to have some insights from Reese and talking about a few old stories from when we met. It was good fun and a good chat. So thanks very much, Reese, for coming on. All right, so let's get to our guest for today. We have a guest in the studio, made their way down to Carrum, and it is Lauren Haworth from Supply Partners. Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning, Pat. How are we doing?
Going great, thank you. Thank you so much for making your way down to Carrum. We've got another cold, wet winter's morning at Carrum, but thanks for making it. And we're here in the studio, so great for you to be here. Appreciate you making it down.
No, I appreciate you having me on board, mate. It's it's a good little drive. Yeah, it is a little bit wet, but that's pretty standard for Melbourne. So getting used to it now.
It certainly is. It certainly is at this time of year. And also today, we have the last day of the Melbourne school holidays. So that means I've had, in the Southwell household, we've been all, well, except me, everyone's been pretty sick. My son Ryan is here with us today, and he's decided to join us for the podcast. Do you want to say hi to everyone, Ryan?
Hi.
Yeah. So Ryan has come up with us. You might have a little question for Lauren pretty soon. You reckon we'll get one out of you? You reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you like to do anyway, Ryan? What's your favourite thing in the world?
Sport.
Sport. What sport?
Nice.
What sport?
Footy.
Footy. What team?
Essendon.
Yeah.
Go the Bombers.
Go Bombers. Oh, you Bombers as well?
No, not at all. But
Damn it.
honestly, any time anybody tells me a team, I'm like, yeah, go off. No, I'm a Brisbane Lions girl.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
you've told me this before. I think. Yeah.
Fitzroy Bears, I think, is what it used to be.
No, well, it was the Fitzroy Lions and the Brisbane Bears merged for the. Yeah.
Yeah, I love sport. There we go. Fully in depth.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So, let's get into a little bit of an introduction. Well, before we'll do that, maybe we'll jump to Ryan and we'll ask him if he has a question for Lauren. Do you have a question for Lauren?
Yeah.
All right. Fire away. What have you got for her?
What's your favourite thing been so far in solar?
Ryan, that is sorry.
That's a good question. No.
I was about to say, it's a great question.
That's a really good question, Ryan.
Look, that's very, honestly, and you know, there is so much to enjoy about being in the solar industry and sort of my adventures so far, but you know, I straight up have to say the people that I've met and the stories that I've heard and not just within their careers and their businesses, just in interpersonally and getting to know people on a bit of a deeper level, and it's honestly been great. There's a lot of stories out there and a lot of lessons to be learnt, and going through my little journey, it's been great to really connect. So I'd like to say, Ryan, that is definitely my most my favourite part of the industry at the moment. Great
stuff.
question again.
Got any comments on that, Ryan, or that's a good answer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
A+.
Good stuff. All right. Well, Ryan, thank you for your question and thank you for participating in Solar Sidekicks. Appreciate you jumping in. Have you had enough now?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. No worries, mate. Okay. Yeah. Whack that down. Okay. Yep. All right.
Catch you later, Ryan.
Yeah. Gonna go for.
See you, mate.
Gonna go for the good parenting trick. The iPad is going to be looking after Ryan for the next hour or so. The hotspot should be on, mate. You should be right now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great stuff. All right.
Nailed it.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely did. Absolutely
Come
did.
for your job soon.
Yeah, I know. I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely in trouble. All right. Okay, Lauren. Well, so let's get into a little bit about yourself. So, just tell me your BDM at Supply Partners.
Yeah.
Just those who may not either be that much into solar or know who Supply Partners are, just give us a quick rundown on Supply Partners and what you do at Supply Partners.
Yeah, of course. So, once again, I'm Lauren Haworth. I am the Victorian Business Development Manager down here with, I'm sure a lot of you know, Will Beasley as well. Yep. I like to think of myself as his little Padawan at the moment. He's off jet setting in Europe at the moment for his little hot girl summer and seeing one of the other BDMs in Sydney getting married. So, nice. That honestly summarizes what we are at Supply Partners. We are a little bit of a family. In terms of what Supply Partners do, we are a wholesale distribution company, but we look beyond that. We look beyond that scope and we offer technical service. We offer, honestly, training within the industry as well, especially for those non-electricians. So we do have quite a range of services that we can offer that is just beyond being a bit of a box mover. And this is something that our three directors, I'm sure some of you have met him, Pat, John and Liam, all very different characters, but all great minds and coming together to really want to achieve sort of, I don't know, just a level of support and just a family sort of essence within the business. And, I've been in the company now for 2.5 years. Started off just as a little office administration, sort of little girly, keying the orders and getting the boxes out. But, just having the support and having that sort of career progression sort of given to me to say, hey, look, we're here to support you 100%. We can see that you've got a bit of an inkling for the solar industry and renewable energy sort of industry. Yeah, let's get you there. Let's give you all the tools to get there. But Supply Partners, I give full credit to them. They're a great team and we're really wanting to make a bit of a change in this industry. Yeah,
for sure. Look, I can really see that. It would be so easy to just sort of sit off the side and be what you call like box movers. Like just doing wholesale, you're shipping in, shipping out, just doing accounts and that sort of stuff. Definitely doing a lot more than that I can see. I really haven't had that much to do with Supply Partners, to be honest. But I've well, it's probably because I've been out of the installation game for so long now. Certainly had a lot of good chats with the people who work there at, drink events or whatever they are, just events, getting out there and meeting people. I'm really impressed with the training arm. That's really cool. Like that's for me, that's got legacy stuff written all over it, I reckon. Like that whole thing with the getting people accredited who are non-electricians. That should have happened like 10, 15 years ago. Yeah. It's really frustrating that was never a thing. Yeah. I don't know where the pushback was from with that. I don't know 100%. But
I think sometimes there's a bit of a resistance to change and there's that segregation that, as electricians, we should have all the knowledge. But it's getting to the time where like time is money, mate. And, if you can diversify and you can delegate a little bit better within your company, that gives you the time to actually focus on the installation rather. I know a lot of guys and girls who, they'll do the installation during the day, come home, do all their admin, do all their paperwork, and mate, they just get burnt out. Like it's
I know. Exactly. Like, and there's so many other things. Like, you don't have to be an A-grade electrician to learn about this stuff and to be qualified in it. So many people in this industry that aren't electricians that are so technically minded as well. And even if you're not fully technically minded, you've just got a little bit about it. You should be able to share that with everyone, especially if you're willing to learn. So I love that this is a thing now. Yeah. And it's, like I say, I think it's got legacy written all over it. So well done to the Supply Partners team for that.
Yeah, full shout out to Israel and Sam.
Yeah.
They've definitely pioneering it.
Yeah. I definitely had a few really good chats with Israel about all that.
He's a top bloke.
Yeah. He sure is. Fellow Queenslander.
Yeah. Little Queenslander. So, he is an installer himself and then was educating at TAFE Queensland. Yeah. Trying to bring the standards up to quite current sort of standards because we noticed he was teaching a lot of, old school sort of practicality and old school theory and was sort of like, we need a bit of a change. This is an evolving industry and we need to be on top of it. And so, having the opportunity and the brains trust of Supply Partners come together with Israel. Yep. We've put together this accreditation and this training program that we've seen to start taking a bit of momentum now, myself included. I was the first person to actually complete the advocacy and consultancy course. Yeah, cool. I'm not going to say I was a guinea pig, but I was definitely a guinea pig, which is so fun. I'm cute and furry. So, got
any bad guinea pig stories? You didn't come out with like a bad rash or something like a guinea pig might if they're no.
I know with guinea pigs you're meant to have a friend, otherwise they get a little bit sad and they tend to pop off. But no, it's definitely no. It was all learning and it was all an experience, which was great to undertake.
When was that? When did you do the guinea pig work? Was that?
That would have been about October, September last year.
Yeah, right.
When we were really finalising it.
It's still pretty new. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, stuff changed in the solar industry so quick. And I sort of heard that this was bubbling away in the background maybe a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So I know it's been a long time coming. No doubt it's been a long time coming. So yeah, congratulations to the team for getting it on board and really helping the industry. I think now that's something that's really going to help the industry get better and get people to share knowledge and just
educated in general. Yeah,
exactly.
Less mistakes happen.
It's just a no-brainer. Honestly, it's a no-brainer. Like, honestly, we could talk forever about like who was. I don't know who the resistance was coming from, but trying to sort of just hold on to knowledge. It just, I just feel there's no value. It's no good. No, it's not. It's not. I don't. People that do that, like, they don't understand that if you share the knowledge, it's not like other people are taking their piece of the pie. What happens is the pie grows, and everyone gets a bigger piece.
Yeah, and the pie becomes more delicious at the end of the day.
Oh, does it ever? Yeah. I know. For sure. That's exactly right. Oh, great stuff. All right, cool. Well, that's a good little start. Now, what about you want to tell me a little bit about your background? So Queenslander.
Go the Maroons.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know NRL down here. Yeah.
What's that? I don't know.
Less kicking. Well, no, for sure. So, I've been a little hustler since I was about 11 years old. Just sort of, growing up with an immigrant mother and, my dad passing pretty early, it sort of forced me to, find my own feet pretty quickly. And so, I just found a job where I could, started off in a little ice cream shop and a juice making bar. And was I of legal age? No, I wasn't. But was money getting put into my bank account? No, it was all under the table.
It's the main thing.
That's exactly it. But, mum would drop me there in the morning and pick me up after work. So, but from that, just got me a little casual job at Foot Locker, working on Thursday nights and weekends and pumping away. And that's where I sort of found my passion for customer service. Weirdly enough, it's not what you would think, but there's this sense and this altruistic thought that's like, I just want to help people. Even if it's fitting them a good pair of shoes, like, heck, you want to make it well. So
can I just ask one thing, right? You've worked at a shoe shop.
Yeah.
All right. I've never worked at a shoe shop.
Oh, you're missing out, mate.
No, I know. I reckon I would be. I reckon I wouldn't mind it, actually.
Yeah.
All right. So you get people come in, especially in Queensland, you're going to get people coming in with no socks on.
Oh, mate.
So do you have like... I think I might have done it once.
Yeah, it's a try-on socks, isn't it?
Yeah, there's like they bring out like a basket.
And you look at it and you're like, there's dirt on there. There's probably a little bit of gangrene on there, mate. I don't know. Look, it's true. It's true. We did have our little box of socks in there because I worked up at the sunny coast as well for a little bit. And people there, they don't have shoes. They just wear muggers. They've just come straight from the beach. So they're covered in sand. And, I've seen some interesting feet in my life. But that's a whole other conversation.
But do those socks get washed or changed? Do they get changed out? Or
They do. So they do have a lifespan, I've got to admit. I took it upon myself to take them home, wash them every 2 days. Just,
right, okay.
Good.
There would be good to know.
Yeah, or look, some didn't. So we'll keep that. And that's where... And I wasn't really big on the single-use socks where you'd sort of give them and throw them out. Like, for me, that's just big waste.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so if I can give someone tinnier instead, I'll go for that option. But no, so I would wash them. Some people would pick them up and be like, absolutely not. I'll just try this shoe on without it, thanks. And I was like, that's, each to your own.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, for your answer, they do get washed situationally.
Just anyone who's not sure, this is a podcast about solar.
Yeah.
So just in case anyone wasn't sure.
Turn back in about 5 minutes. The solar conversation then. But mate.
Cool. So Foot Locker. So
Foot
got
Locker.
got a passion for customers.
That's exactly it. Then went on to some more retail, other ventures, platypus. Just kind of was working my way up through that, and then it got to the point where I'd been managing these stores for so long. I was like, maybe I'll actually return back to study. So before that, I was studying secondary education.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I really wanted to.
Did you get to the end of that?
No, I got 3 years in.
Yeah, okay.
And then sort of realised I would have been, 21 at the time and gone, mate, I'm not, I can't be a teacher. I give full credit to teachers at the moment, just what they have to take on.
Did you go into placement or anything like that?
Yeah, I did 2 placements.
Oh, right, yep.
And honestly, I did love it. Like, I got along with the kids. I actually felt, there is that sense of education that you really want to pass on, which is, I think, why I have a little bit of my heart in the new energy training as well, because you're educating the sector. But it was honestly great, but I just figured I had so much more to learn in my life and more life experience that I needed before I could take on the responsibility of guiding the next generation through. And perhaps that was a bit of lack of confidence on my end, but I'm honestly so happy I did, because what I then learned and did over the next 10 years, pretty diversified, but it is everything that I am today. And it was quite fun, but tried to go back to study, was like, nah, not going to do it. And then was like, oh, actually, no, I do want to study, but I want to do sound engineering. I love music. You know, it was, you know, those little brain moments where you're like, yeah, all right, let's get into that instead. And then did that for 6 months. And I was like, oh, actually, no, maybe I don't want to do this. It's like, you know, a bit flippy floppy. And instead packed my bags and moved to London. And I always wanted to sort of live there for a little bit. And so I got there, became a bartender. Bartender sort of manager, and was training teams over there just to, you know, make delicious cocktails.
Yeah.
And,
were you just hanging out with Aussies over there?
No, surprisingly not.
That's
no.
good. That's good. So many Australians do.
No,
just go to
the
London
point?
to hang out with Aussies.
Yeah, don't go down to Clapham and just hang out with the other Aussies.
Clapham,
It's all down in Clapham. And, you know, I was more situated kind of more in the north, and was working in Trafalgar Square. And Covent Garden. But for me, I was like, mate, you're overseas, get to learn other cultures, like meet friends who you would never, or meet people that you wouldn't really talk to on a day to day. And so happy I did. They would take me to their countries, meet their family, meet their friends, you know, would go on little holidays, and it just widened my perspective of the world, and even the own sort of indiscretions I had on myself, where I was like, oh, I need to be here at this age and I need to be doing this. Yeah, that kind of just washed away. Yeah, literally, you know, be a 60-year-old, it's like, mate, I'm just living life to the best I can. Like,
that's so good you worked that out at a relatively young age, because so many people get into their 40s and 50s and they're like, do I still have to be like this? Like, is this the sort of the pressure that I'm feeling from so many different things?
Societal pressure, and it's, you know, you sort of need to shake that off a little bit, because your life is yours for living. You know, at the end of the day. No one else's. No, absolutely not. It's your name written on your tombstone at the end of the day. So, you know, live life for you. And
take ownership of it. Do it yourself.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So did that, and then, you know, COVID hit and I moved back to Brisbane. Just, you know, there wasn't really much going on over in London at that time. And managed to pick
was
up.
it when you came back, was it? When start of COVID?
Yeah, exactly. So it would have been January 2020.
Yeah.
And then the plan was to actually move down to Melbourne at that time.
Okay.
You know, I've always wanted to be here, and came down for a little 6-day holiday, and I was like, yep, I'm going to do it.
Right. When did you do the holiday though? When was that? Was that in March or something? When
no,
the
it was February actually.
When it's all hot and everyone's loving it around here.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I was like, wow, the sun doesn't go down till 8. This is great.
Yeah.
Just having a beer at 7:30 at night, full shining.
What was it? What made you fall in love with Melbourne? Like, because a lot of people from Queensland come down here and they're like, oh, it's so cold. Like, I've got family in Queensland, right? And they always, a lot of them grew up in Melbourne, and they come down to Melbourne after living in Queensland for 15 years or so, and they're like, oh, it's so cold here. I hate it here. It's so freezing.
Whiners, mate. Whiners.
I know. They
put
are.
on a jacket.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's easy to put on layers and rip off layers. Like, you only get down to your skin and you're still hot. So,
exactly.
You know, unless you're walking around in skeletal system, go for it. But
what was it about Melbourne you fell in love with? Like, is it the culture?
It was the
coffee.
Yeah. Look, it was a whole bunch of things. I think definitely coming from London and the pace that it was. I sort of love that. Like, I'm a little pocket rocket. The adrenaline really runs through, sometimes to a non-containable limit. And that's where I make my faux pas. But it was that sense. I was like, I got back to Brizzy and I was sitting at my sister's house, and, you know, she lives in the suburbs, and I was just bored. I was so bored. I was like, hey, what do I do? Well, you know, I just want to go and get engaged within it. And like, I love Brisbane, don't get me wrong. It's home is where the heart is. And I do have a great community and friend circle up there, and my family. But yeah, coming down here, like, there's so much more to try. And like, I love food. I love drinking. I'm not going to say I love drinking, but I love going out for a cheeky vino and, you know, a little pun. It was something that just was always alluring to me. And for me, if I've got an idea, if I just want to move to Melbourne, I'll do it. Yeah, great. I want to do it. So yeah, I sort of came down and was ready to make the decision, and then flew back. And then that's when everything started sort of, you know, that was on the precipice of getting locked down. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess we'll stay here for a hot minute. And so, yeah, I got the opportunity to sort of run a restaurant with my best mate. And we were sort of having a bit of fun with that, but that was getting to the end of its tenor. And sort of the barber next door, who I'm quite good friends with, was like, oh, you know, my mate runs a solar company. He's looking for some people in the office at the moment. I was studying business management in uni back at that time, because I was like, oh, you know, wouldn't mind doing a bit of, you know, maybe having my own business at one stage. And did that, and then I took the chance, handed in my resume and cover letter to Liam, who's one of the directors at Supply Partners. got the job straight away. And yeah, the rest was kind of history, really. It was my first ever office job, and it was pretty hard. I couldn't sit on my my chair all that well. And I was probably the most disruptive downstairs.
But this would have been like, so you started your first office job kind of after COVID was at its worst. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're doing a bit of work from home.
No, I was still in the office.
Still in the office?
Yeah.
You guys were able to go in, were you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we were.
okay.
So, I mean, like, in all fairness, like Queensland or Brisbane didn't actually have it hit.
No,
as
I know.
hard as,
I know.
Yeah. And, I feel obviously for the Melburnians down here. So we did have a little bit more flexibility.
Yep.
And yeah, it would have been 2022, I think. Is when
Okay.
I
Okay. Yeah.
So it was actually just kind of after.
Yeah. Things had settled down a lot by then.
Yeah.
Here. We were like, I was back here playing cricket and, all those sort of things. We were able to go to the footy, which is, that's pretty much my life, footy or cricket. No, but that's
Nothing
how,
wrong with that.
Yeah, but that's how we sort of measure it. We're able to engage with people.
Yeah.
You're able to see people, see your family. By then it settled down a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you kind of, in some ways, you sort of fell into the industry a little bit, didn't you? Like you were just doing.
I tripped into it, mate.
Yeah. You're doing, so you're studying, learning about being in business development.
Yeah.
You're learning about that sort of side of things, and then you just had an offer come up or a good opportunity come up.
Yeah, and I didn't actually think it was going to lead me to where I was. It was sort of, even at that point, I was like, okay, maybe it's just a short-time job until I figure out what the next move is. And, it took me probably a few months to really find my groove.
Yep.
Because, mate, I didn't even know what a PV module did.
Yeah.
I barely know what solar was, but,
Yeah.
it took, honestly, months of watching little YouTube videos and really just after constant interaction with clients and digging a little bit deeper into their installations and writing little cheat sheets for myself and getting the support from supply partners as well. Like the tech team, I think I had on, quick dial just to ask them, a couple of questions. And I just remember kind of seeing upstairs and was like, there's a bit of lack of, female representation up there.
Yeah, right.
And I also was like, let's give it a good whirl. And I sat down, I was actually in the garden and John Degatardi came around and he was like, oh, what are you doing? And I just, got into a bit of a chat with him and he was like, where do you see yourself going in this company? And I was like, oh, mate, like I want to be your first female BDM. It's I've got a bit of a neck for it. I do like
Are you
sales.
the first female BDM there?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, right. Good stuff.
Yeah, go off.
Yeah.
No, but it's, that was even taking gender aside, it was more so that was more of a personal achievement.
Yeah,
I
sure.
always definitely do want to succeed in any sort of role I go into.
Yep.
And he looked at me with a bit of a cheeky little smile and he's like, I think we're going to do all right.
Yeah,
like
great.
he was like, you've got the confidence, you just need to sort of refine your skill a little bit, but that can all be taught.
Yeah.
A lot of it comes with personality with sales. And we're in a relationship of people, not sales, is how I like to sort of define it.
Everyone in sales, everyone in sales I know who's good at sales says that. It's about people. It's a people game.
Massively.
Yeah,
And
relationships.
that's exactly it. And, it's any of the technical stuff can sort of be taught or the process can sort of be taught and really grind it out after a while. But, I think the best connectivity was, you're just a normal person, not trying to be, I'm not going to say sleazy or slimy, but, going in there with a sort of a malicious intention. It was like, I'm going in here because I want to help your business succeed. And I know that you're going to teach me just as much in the background. Like I call some of my installers sometimes for tech advice because at the end of the day, I'm like, mate, you're on the roofs every day. So, I just need to know a quick little configuration. What's the best way you do it? And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll do this and this and this. And I can pass that on to other clients who are just maybe still learning in that space. So, it really is quite a big communal effort. And at the end of the day, it's just respect. Like, you don't want to be doing anything dodgy. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's lovely. That's really good. It's very authentic. Very authentic what
It's
you're
all a
talking
lie.
about.
No, I'm kidding. But no, like it's pretty hard to, I don't know. It's much easier to be a good human than it is to, be a bit of an arsehole.
For sure. I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. Yeah, well, I can always, I don't know, there was something, when we first met, I think it was at...
It's like the installer road
yeah,
roadshow at
Sandringham, it might have been Sandringham.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
a
little
Smart
footy club
Energy
down
Council.
there. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I don't know why. I just put up a chair next to yourself and Layla, I think it was.
Yeah.
And just introduced myself and we all had a bit of a chat. I knew there was something about you I wanted to, that I wanted to learn more about because you sort of reminded me a bit of Jess, like really interesting and got a lot to say.
That's a massive compliment, thank you. I absolutely adore Jess.
I just knew, I just knew, like when I started doing these podcasts, I just knew I wanted to get you on for sure because I know you got a really good story, really interesting, and there's Good values too. Yeah. So that's really
I appreciate
really
that,
good.
Mate. It was nice to like going into, especially when I first started going into those sort of installer road shows and not really knowing anyone, and like my level of knowledge was still very basic.
Yep.
So I was a little bit, I was definitely very anxious to go and engage in conversations, especially about solar, because I would know straight away, oh, I'm out of my depth.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But you were just so lovely and so sort of just, I don't know, it was just like a very easy conversation to have with you, and I can feel that like anxiety sort of dissipate, and I was like, oh, okay, like he's just a decent human. Like let's talk about. I don't even know if we talked about solar at that point. Like it was.
No, I think we wrote. I think one of the jokes we made was about we might have got a little book, a blank like a notebook from Sungirl or something like that, and I think you were saying, oh, were you supposed to like sit here and write our feelings in it or something? Yeah. Something like that, because they just gave us this pen and this paper, and we're like, well, what do we do with this?
Yeah, that's like dear diary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, well, that's. I mean, I feel like this is the thing. Like, there's no way I know everything in solar. There's so much I don't know.
It changes every day.
Yeah, that's it. It totally changes. There's heaps I don't know about, and I like certainly wouldn't want to go around trying to like exploit people's weaknesses and go, you don't know this, you're no good, or anything like that. We've all got so much to learn from each other, I think.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree.
Yeah, and even people that, from my point of view, like even people that haven't been in the industry that long, I've got something. It may not be something quite as technical or whatever, but I've got something to learn from them. Whether it's just about being a good human, or just something interesting. There's always something interesting.
Well, the thing is as well, like I openly say to a lot of my clients, look, I'm not the most technically advanced, or but I'm going to find out the answer for you. But the thing is, and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry for putting this on you. I'm like, no. Like, please, like, ask me these questions, because at the end of the day, you're going to find the answer. I'm going to find the answer. And my knowledge is going to be better for it. So thank you. Like, I say thank you a lot of the time. And they're like, oh, but I'm making you do this. And it's like, well, no, like, you're actually helping to develop my career.
That's right.
And they sort of like think of it and they're like, oh, okay, well, you're welcome then. I'm like, there you go. Thank you. And it is... it is honestly just crazy how much you learn every single day. Yeah, being on the job, and especially if you've got you got your hands in it. It's it's incredible. I really do enjoy it.
Absolutely, it's a great industry we're working. Quite intriguing, I think, so far. It's been a really good start to the show. So thanks so far for being so open and honest about everything.
Oh, it's okay, thank you.
That's all right. So you seem to me to be someone who's quite honest, shows a lot of integrity, and is really keen to be a good person doing the right thing. So I reckon that would be sometimes hard in being a business development manager, because I reckon you're going to have times when clients are either not lining up with your values or doing things which, potentially may not be what you believe in. Is that, am I on the mark there? Do you ever come across these type of challenges?
Yeah, look, definitely. Like it was interesting. Like I even put in my notes last night, like my little nickname in the supply partners is like Kermit, because I am pretty green to the industry and there's so much still to learn. But the best thing that I think gathered from where my journey has sort of progressed is just you can run your business the way that you want.
Yep.
There is no pressure to have to try and service every single person, every single installer that's out there at every company. And I think that's, when I first came into the role, I was like, I've got to get every sale. I've got to hit up every single person. I've got to be quite aggressive in that nature. And after a while, I noticed, there was this uncomfortable feeling in my body that was, I know these guys aren't doing the best installs.
Yeah.
I know that they're cutting corners. I know that they're not caring about the end client. And that was making me feel, as I said, uncomfortable, but also just a bit icky. It was... I was like, okay, well, why am I putting effort and energy into this company if I know they're doing dodgy stuff at the end? I think it's always important to remember the end client and the fact that we are trying to have this transition to a renewable future, 2030. And that's always, a year that's stuck in my head. But we're not going to get there if there's going to be dodgy installs and there's going to be, a negative conception of what the industry is.
Definitely.
And so, talking to John, talking to Liam, it was very much, Lauren, what our business ethos is. That we want quality installers and we want to do quality work and we want to align ourselves with those installers and those companies. And so I had to do a bit of critical thinking on my book, sort of look through and go, okay, who have I worked with so far? Who have I actually spoken to that I know what their whole process is? I know what their end motives are and what their end goals are. Do they align with what I want to be achieving?
Yep.
And that was kind of like the light bulb moment where I was like, I can be somewhat selective about who I choose to put my energy into and whose business I want to develop. Because for me, that sits well with me. And I think there is this sort of symbiotic relationship that ends up happening where, you know, the best outcome is going to be achieved. So there's definitely been points where, you know, a company has more so prospected me. You know, they've heard about it and they go, oh, we hear you, you know, you give great service. You know,
That's nice. That's good to hear.
Honestly, the first time it happened, I was like, yeah, go off, Lauren.
Yeah, good.
I was like, I think I'm supposed to be prospecting you, mate. Like, this seems to be a bit of a role reversal. But, you know, they've heard about me from another company and they've come through. And, yeah, I've sort of gone into a bit of my profiling and said, you know, hey, look, you know, how do you run your business? What do you want to achieve at the end of the day? And, you know, what care are you putting into your end clients? The biggest thing that I've sort of picked up is aftercare support. So a lot of the guys, especially in regional centres, there is such a need for aftercare support because solar can go down, off-grid can go down. You sort of on call 24/7, really.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it just sort of got to this point where I'd be finding little holes in their stories. And honestly, my partner, you know, works in a sector where she has to sort of dissect people's stories and be like, oh, I think that doesn't really make sense. And so I've sort of had that kind of through osmosis come through me. And yeah, there's definitely been moments where I've had to kind of get the confidence up and say to a client, hey, look, I don't think that I'm particularly aligned with how you run your business.
Yeah.
And in the most respectful way possible, I think you should look for another distributor, as I don't believe I'm going to be the right person for you, just in the way that I find I want to run an ethical business.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's definitely been a hard thing to come to because you are aware, I could be throwing away potentially my quarterly budget or, you know, it does come down to a monetary thing. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to be making dirty money.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it'll come back and bite you in the end anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that, I mean, this is the thing. You might end up working, if you kept those relationships, I think you're potentially compromising the good ones too.
Definitely. Because, 100%. I think that because then, there's only so many hours in a day.
Yeah.
There's only so much capacity my brain has. So there's definitely a moment where you get there and you're like, oh, man, I'm absolutely fried. But the thing is, it's where who taught me that? Actually, Carolina was when we were going through our little, like, AWISE mentoring sort of session. She was like, where your, where your energy goes, something flows.
I'm sure she said exact
she
same
said it on the
thing to me,
podcast.
or even just in conversation that I've had with her. Yeah, well,
And-
she's smart, isn't she?
Mate,
There's so much wisdom in her.
Honestly,
I can't
I've
believe
never felt so just in awe.
Yeah.
I think, and just the way that she carries herself. Like, once again, I just have respect for a lot of women that are in our industry and what they've sort of had to go through and their own personal, I guess theories. But it really was sort of a moment where I was like, mate, I don't have to give that energy to you because I'm actually then taking away from the people who really deserve it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's I agree with that. I think you need to nurture the ones who do hold the same values as you, and look, the other ones that don't, let them find their own way doing something else. I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. Or they'll find another distributor, or they'll find someone, who wants to work with them. And that's so, do what you want to do. I'm not going to sit there and, be a little dictator and be like, you shouldn't be doing that. Yeah. Like, everyone's open to their own opinion and open to their own, business model.
Yep.
But I think just for me to be able to sleep nice at night, I'm a bit of a light sleeper to begin with, but just to feel, okay, I've actually really sort of achieved and I've actually really been a part of something that's going to grow our industry as opposed to put a bit of a, rampaging stop to it in a way. But it's, it's still learning, not to say that, there's not going to be a situation where it comes up and I don't want to sit there and be like, oh, should I, shouldn't I, should I, sometimes you just got to do it, get it done. And then you can sort of reflect on it afterwards for the next.
I need to learn. I need to learn that sometimes. Honestly, it's the same. I'm the exact same. Like, go through the same sort of things. Some of my clients, if they're not don't have the right values, I'm pretty hard. It's pretty hard for me to do that. I need to learn from you. Just cut them off and go, well, okay, that might be
Yeah.
my bread and butter at the moment, but, I've got to do the right thing.
Yeah, and I think it definitely comes hard for, I'm the first one to say I'm very much a people pleaser. Like, that's I'll be the first person to take my jacket off and put it on the road so someone can walk across without getting their
Yep.
sort of feet wet. But at the same time, you learn that as you get a little bit older as well, is that your energy starts to get taken.
Yeah.
And, what energy can you really keep for yourself? And if you're not there as your own person, there's nothing really you can give out. You're at your capacity. And I think even mirroring, aligning yourself with clients that you really do invest in and feel good about,
Yep.
they're going to offer you just as much investment back. And, I was explaining to you on the break how, I lean on a few of my installers and a few of my companies. If I've got a question burning, I just want to ask them because they're the ones who are doing it day in and day out.
Yeah.
They've got the sort of, practical experience in it. A lot of it's theory for me. So getting their sort of firsthand detailing and their firsthand experience really just fills me, and it really helps me to develop my own career and what I want to do. And it really is just this kind of beautiful cycle. So that's what I'm aiming to keep going. But that's the exciting bit of it. Like new challenges are going to come up.
Yeah.
And I'll find ways to,
I'm sure a lot of your good clients as well, I'm sure they lean on you too. And you probably, you'd be,
Oh, mate, a lot of it's just for a yarn. Like, and that's the thing. Like, a lot of it isn't even, Loz, I need this or I need that. It's, man, I'm having an absolute stinker of a day. And sometimes they need to get that out.
Yeah.
They need to sort of vent, or they just need to have someone to talk to and have that ear to listen to. And
Yep.
that's where it goes beyond your role in a way. I think a lot of it is business. You've got to get this sale.
Yeah.
It's like, mate, it's more than that. It's all those little moments leading up to it where you build that trust and you build that rapport. Sorry.
Yeah.
Repetitive, no. And you do, and once again, you get to know people and you actually learn more about what their values are that relate to their company, even just their personal life. That gives you that safeness, I guess, and that, that real comfortable feeling that, I can really say anything with these guys. And we're still going to achieve great outcomes.
That's it. Yeah. Whatever happens here, me and you are okay. That's what you sort of, I understand.
Absolutely. Like, and that's the thing, like, mate, I'm not perfect. Like, so, I could stuff up an order.
Yeah.
God forbid. And, and then, but, at the same time, I've gotten a smart meter or something like that, something small, but, I'll pop it in my car and I'll drive down to where the installation is and go, mate, I'm so sorry, I'm stuffed up, got this.
Yeah.
And, most of the time they're just like, mate, you didn't have to do that. Like, we're not putting the smart meter in for another 2 days. And I'm just like, oh, yeah, fair shout. But, it is. I will go above and beyond for those, who I've built that relationship with. And even if they mess up on their end and they're like, they'll call me in a bit of a panic being like, oh, Lauren, like, I messed up, I really need this. And I was like, mate, no stress. Like, we can get this sorted,
Yeah.
And it really is that just relationship building.
Yeah.
That really entails what my job is.
Yeah, cool. That's really nice. Who else do you rely on in the industry? Like, so there's a lot of supportive groups that are around. There's a lot of mentoring programs and those sort of things.
Yeah.
Where do you sit with all that sort of stuff in the industry?
Oof, mate, I learn from everybody. Like,
Yeah.
I am a sponge. I'm a sponge and a half. But I say I have to give full credit, especially to the A-Wise women.
Yeah.
That was always one of the biggest. I think even before I came into solar, and a little, fun fact was that I was doing a little bit of DJing before. That was sort of like my little side hustle while working.
I saw your link you sent
Yeah.
me.
I was like, have a listen. Thank you. 110 followers. No, it was, I haven't done it for a few years because honestly, solar has taken up a lot of my brain space and, but also just moving and life changes and you just don't really have the time to get into it. But, I was always very big on pushing women and into the industry that is often male dominated. And I've always had that sort of little burning fire in me. So, when I came to, I think it would have been Smart Energy in 2023. I think I'd been a business development manager for about 3 days.
Yep.
And going to a conference was the most overwhelming thing in the entire
Did you go to that conference, did you?
Yeah, I did. It was, you wouldn't have noticed me. I would have been just like a little.
Yeah, I don't think I saw you there. I did. That was in Sydney, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did go to that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
okay.
it was honestly, it was the bright lights, the people.
Yeah.
I'd never really been exposed to something of that, grand scale. And
Yep.
I remember this is when we were sort of first starting to pitch new energy training.
Yeah.
In Israel, I had an opportunity to speak at AWISE, just to talk about it. And here at the last minute, I was like, oh, do you want to pop up and have a bit of a chat and a bit of a talk about what it does? Because, you'll be our first student and you really being quite big on the education.
Did he just drop that on you at the last second, did he?
Yeah, he sort of look. Yeah, we're walking upstairs, and like I knew that there was an opportunity and that there may have been a chance, but then it was finally solidified. And it's like, nah, you've got 5 minutes, go for it. And yeah, poor little me's going off. I'm like, oh, g'day guys. Nah, I was actually, I sort of took it on, and public speaking really isn't that scary for me.
Yep.
And it just, I just spoke about it, and the AWISE women afterwards, this would have been like Sam, Christine, Bobby, like came up, and I think Lily, and trying to remember the old managing director of Fronius, starting with K.
Kesha.
Yeah. Came up, and honestly, I had just, it was kind of like you'd find your people, and you'd sort of have this really beautiful moment of connection. And I was like, oh, okay, there's all these amazing women in the industry. And I mean, Keisha said something really beautiful, just being like, I see you being director of a company one day. Like just that attitude. And I was like, that is the biggest compliment I've ever been given in my life. Like, thank you. Probably not, but I'll keep that under my belt just in case. And yeah, just since then,
big words from her. It's
nice.
Mate,
yeah.
It's amazing.
I felt flattered. Like, it was huge. Like, especially, I was still visibly shaking.
Yeah.
But the amount of the amount of women that came up afterwards and was like, oh, that was so great. You were saying things that, really related to me. And, there's definitely a disparity within the industry, but it was just so nice to hear a very human version of what you're going through.
Yeah.
And that honestly was just the light bulb moment again, where I was like, oh, this is definitely an organization I want to be involved within.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice diversification to what I do on my day to day.
Yep.
And being able to put energy into that to bring more women into the industry, because if you can't see it, you can't be it. And it was just such a lovely moment to be like, okay, we can educate, and we can really show that it's not a scary industry. There's so many different avenues that you can go down. And yeah, since then, I've definitely relied on them, as I said, especially with Bobby and Christine, like, I'll give them a call and be like, mate, guys, I'm anxious. And they're like, yeah, we know. But they'll talk me through it, and they will really sort of eradicate a lot of the anxiety and the fear that I reside within me. And it's only when put into something a bit uncomfortable that will sort of arise. But, I've had them as a great support, and coming on board as, one of their mentors in the Solar Sisters program.
You want to talk a bit about the Solar Sisters program, because that's actually, this is, we haven't even mentioned this. Like we've spoken about AWISE a lot. I've meant to get to it, and I just never have. I was meant to get to it when Bobby was in.
Yeah.
We just
you just chat though.
Oh yeah, that just got off track. That one.
Yeah.
That one totally got off track. Do you want to just let us know a bit about it? I think actually it was maybe the launch the night before when Bobby came in.
Yeah.
So we still didn't even talk about it. But anyway, do you want to how did that night go? You went to that?
No, it was great. It was great. Yeah. She actually even mentioned you. She was like, oh God, bloody love Pat, because he just sent a message saying good luck with tonight, and that's what I mean. That's the sort of allyship and the sort of support that we sort of need.
Yep.
Knowing that what we're doing is the right thing. And yeah, I guess with that night, it was great. There was probably about 40 or 50 women sort of in the room.
Yep.
We sort of just launched the program. We had a lot of the mentees and the mentors there, and it was a great way to sort of meet face to face. And I met one of the new engineers over at Clenergy, and we'd sort of connected.
Who was that? Do you know who that was?
Can't
remember.
Modhush.
Okay. Yep.
Her name is. I'm so sorry if I butchered that.
No, that's all right.
But
no, I don't know her.
Yeah, no, she's just come on board. And,
right, okay.
I've met Unesco, I believe, from Clenergy as well.
Yep.
She's been, we met in Tasmania, and she was very nervous about getting in front of everybody, especially 4:00 in the afternoon on one of those. It's a long day, and she knew most people would probably disconnect. But, I just said, look, I'll be at the back of the room. Just,
cheering on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good.
But, it was a great night. We did little videos. We sort of, I hung out with the 6 Star Plus girls, and they're just fantastic. They're a right mob. And, it was great. The Solar Sisters program launched to really harbour sort of an organic sort of networking and supportive atmosphere for women in the industry who just, it is hard in our businesses if we don't really have someone to talk to. Speaking from personal experience, once again, being the only female BDM in my team, sometimes there's certain things that I want to talk about that I can't just go to Will and say, hey, look, I'm feeling this way, because he'll be like, no. Like, he just doesn't relate, and that's okay.
Yep.
So, it's, we've started going into our sessions now, each with our mentors and mentees, and yeah, it's been a really great experience so far. And even for us, we're organically growing it. We're wanting as much feedback as possible. It is the pilot program.
Yeah.
But I think the most important ethos of it is really harboring that networking connection, and just letting you know, no matter what you're going through, you do have someone that you can lean on in the industry who is going to treat you with compassion and understanding.
So nice. Yeah. It's all the things you want to hear, all the things that are really going to promote a better industry for everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
It's more inclusive and just letting people be themselves. So that's what I love about it.
What is the thing? Like, everyone, no matter what your gender, has something different to bring to the table.
Yeah.
And so if you allow them to feel safe and you allow them to feel like they're heard, they're going to come out with such great ideas that you never would have thought about. And then you take that on board and you're like, awesome, okay, let's all really put this together. And then we've got this really beautiful atom of ideas that really just push forth what our industry is really about. And that is about, making change.
That is exactly right. Yeah, some good crossover there. I really like it. You've been in the industry now, 3 years or so? Is it 2.5?
Yeah,
getting 3 years.
Yeah, getting 3. We'll say 3 years. Why not?
Yeah,
give me a bit of credit.
for sure. Let's call it 3.
Yeah, 5.5. Yeah. Great.
So I reckon we've come a long way in that time as far as inclusion goes. All those sort of things. We've certainly come a long way in 10 years. I think.
I can imagine.
Yeah, for sure. So do you still see come up against struggles in a male-dominated? Because still massively male-dominated.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it.
We're making ground, obviously, but and the industry's growing. Do you still find struggles being a female in a male-dominated industry?
It's interesting. I sort of had this conversation with my national manager the other day, because I was like, mate, a lot of these kind of, especially going into some of the more bigger commercial clients, are very much saying, oh, we love going to the footy. Can you take us to the footy? Or we love going for a golf day. Can you take us to a golf day? And I'm like, mate, I don't know how to swing. I've swung a club, don't get me wrong. I can do putt-putt and I can kick a ball pretty well. I do have a bit of a sporty background. I think for me, being a bit more of a tomboy sort of growing up, there was a bit more relativity. But yeah, there's definitely still struggles that I come about. And a lot of that, I do believe, is internalized. Yeah. It's sort of already sort of putting myself down, going, oh man, I'm never going to get this guy's business. They want all the ritz and the glamour, and they want, they want to be getting corporate seats at, next footy game. And, Will was able to do that because he's an MCC member. Yeah. Yeah. Football again. Love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's opportunities there, but that was sort of my narrow perception of how I could win clients. I got to show them all of this, grand and glamour. But, they really not eradicated it, but softened it, being like, Lauren, what you bring to the table is so different. You bring a level of care that, some of our other BDMs don't. And some people, you just got to find out exactly what they want. And
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Returned the Tim Tams with 3 left. Thanks for that.
He's like, I'm going to come back for more.
You're right, mate.
Oh, good. He's got the packet.
Oh, thanks.
The packet too.
Cheers for that.
No, good on you, mate.
There's an apple in the bag too.
Yeah. You just hear loud crunching. He's like, thanks, Dad.
Yeah. What's that, mate? Oh, you've had it. Okay, good.
That's right. He did throw an apple in the bin. Yeah.
Oh, you did too.
He did. I mean, it's still in there. You didn't finish all of it. Food waste. No, I'm kidding. No, yeah. And I guess maybe just that level of connection where perhaps I don't really have. I am a quite young. Well, I'm not gonna say quite young, but a younger queer woman of color. Yep. It's interesting who you sort of, and a lot of your installers are your clean cut classic Aussie blokes.
Yeah.
They love the footy, they love going to the pub, and don't get me wrong, I love doing that too. But there's
God, it sounded like for a second you sound like you're explaining me.
Yeah. I'm just reading your resume. I'm like, but yeah, I think over time that sort of dissipated.
Yeah,
for sure. And it was like, oh look, find uniqueness in yourself. And it doesn't matter whether you're male, female, non-binary, who you identify. It's you as a person at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And if you're there on the same sort of goal to do good business, any of those who just want all the glitz and glamour, mate, they'll go off. Have fun. But those who will actually see beyond that and go, oh, actually, no, well, I want my business to succeed. I want to have the great support from my wholesaler, because they've got a great relationship with manufacturers. It all kind of feeds down. And yeah, I think once that sort of broke down and I really started to find my feet and find the clients who would honestly give me the time of day, there was a lot of people there's definitely been comments made where it's, oh, good girl, oh, thanks so much, darling. That's really good of you.
You still copping that, are you?
Oh, yeah, I copped it a few days ago, actually.
Sorry to hear that. Like, it's darling. Like, come on.
Yeah, but
what are we doing?
And like sometimes I sort of wash that because I'm like, oh, mate, that's just their type of talk. Like, they're not doing it in a sort of genderized way.
No, they're not. I know. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, but if you imagine you were calling them like, oh, thanks, Pat, darling, like, really appreciate that. You'd be like, excuse me.
Exactly. I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's right. They're not going to do it.
No, and look, there's definitely like a strength that's sort of built up upon that, and learning to speak with different personality types as well, and different, there's people who are more direct, who are like, Lauren, get this done, thank you. Oh, won't even say thank you, just like, get it done. And at first I was always like, oh God, like, are they mad at me already?
Yeah, that's just the way they are.
That's just the way they are. And getting to know that and getting to learn that, I was like, okay, cool. No, I understand. It's nothing against me. It's just their way of communication. I can communicate like that back.
Yep.
Or I can choose to be like, g'day, mate. How you going? Like, and just flush out a whole novel on an email.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely is softening. And the more women I speak to, like, we were sort of coming in from that internalized sexism sort of aspect where we've had experiences of that and we've held it on.
Yep.
And it's been difficult to sort of release that. But, over time, I think there will be more of that seep out, and the more women that do come into the industry, to see a little bit more. I'm not going to think it's ever going to be a 50-50, don't get me wrong, but we all have strengths in certain industries, in certain sectors, and, most of our purchasing team, accounting team, operations team, all made up of females.
Yep.
So we're the kind of cogs in the background that make everything sort of work.
Yep.
Then you've got your guys on the roofs and installing, and, those women who are also installing, but, the percentage is pretty small.
It's not that many still.
It's not that many.
No.
And
I think it's doubled. I think we worked out it doubled.
Yeah, look, we'll take
which
that.
is good.
We'll take any increase at this point.
Yep.
And, with the introduction of the Gender Action Plan and, there's definitely movements towards it. And,
Yes.
I can only really say great things. The conversation has started. So as long as that conversation keeps going, it's kind of makes sense, hopefully.
As long as we're moving in that right direction. I
Yeah,
think.
that's exactly. And we're going to go through peaks and troughs, don't get me wrong. But I think the more support and the more vocalized that we can be about it, no movement happens without there being some sort of action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Thank you.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good to hear. Well, it's also good to hear you've got like support around you and you're able to lean on people.
Yeah.
Looks like there's some organisations around which are genuine in wanting to make the industry better.
Yeah.
And you've tapped into those, which is
definitely.
really good.
Yeah, I think other people have mentioned like the soul cutters and I go to all those events, or most of those events that I can get to, and once again it is just another sector to or another opportunity to just meet people, and like I give full credit to actually Tony Smith from Synergy. Where I called him off the whim when I first started, knowing absolutely nothing about the background of Synergy. And it was a bit of just a random call just to say, hey, I'm your new account manager.
Oh, yep.
Last fellas have gone off. And he was just like, mate, no one calls my mobile. What are you doing? And I was sitting there, like, because I was looking for houses at the time as well. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, mate. Like, I didn't know. But over time, like, there was that, he was quite a stall horse in the industry. And
did he say that to you? No one calls my mobile.
Yeah, you can ask him this. It's hilarious. And he was like, I don't know how you got this number, mate. And I was like, oh, it's just on our Odoo profile, So now on my phone it has Tony Synergy call landline. And
I was going to say don't call this
please
number.
do not call. But but over the last year and a bit, we've built a really nice relationship because he was like, oh, actually, you're a good little one. You're trying to do well. You're just trying to get ahead in this industry, and some of the valuable knowledge, like we've shared God knows how many little Shirazes over a night time and in a dark pub when the power goes out. But it's really beautiful to go, oh, no matter what conception you have at the beginning, no matter if you just work through it and you really build that level.
Be open to it.
And, absolutely. Like just not I don't know, just not say no. But you never know what opportunity could flourish to. And that has really been like a pinnacle of being like, I'm really glad that interaction happened. I'm glad that was where we started off and this is where we are now. I'll always see him at conferences now, and he calls himself the irrelevant, washed-up solar guy. I was like, that's a great podcast name, mate. Get into it. But he's always there, give him a big hug, and we always have a good chat. So, good full credit to Tony. Shout out.
Nice. Well, let me say, don't totally discount those footy junkets, right?
Yeah.
It's just a piss up. You don't even have to watch the footy.
No.
If you got a corporate box, you can just sit there, order food, order drinks,
Well,
and just
that's
yell
the
stuff, and just yell random stuff,
Yeah.
and you fit in.
Kick the ball. No, and that's the thing. I truly do understand. Like, I got to give more credit to myself. Like, I do love footy. Like,
Yeah.
growing up, I've played rugby league, tennis. Oh no, sorry, not tennis, cricket. Actually, I did play tennis at one stage.
Yep.
Badminton. I played, soccer for about 15 years. I played AFL. Was one of the sort of better women in the team, and I'm hoping to actually.
Were you really? Where was that? Where'd you do
this
that?
is Zilmere Eagles up in Queensland.
Yeah, right.
So I got poached from one of the sort of like a little school comp, and it was year 12, and they sort of saw me do a banana kick. And they were like, you're the first female we've seen do a banana kick.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, all right, fair shout. And, I'm good with my feet, which was good. And so they were like, look, try out for the Zilmere Eagles, open women's team, see how you go. And then, at that time I was still playing soccer as well and tried out for the team. I was like, I think my heart still lies with soccer.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's only so much sport I can play in 1 week, as well as still having a part-time job in school, which is a bit sad. But now that I've moved to Brunswick, I've kind of sourced out I think it's the Brunswick Renegades.
What's that? Is that soccer?
AFL team.
Oh,
actually.
AFL, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I'm in Melbourne now, mate. I could do AFL.
Yeah, I know that area though. That area, there's a lot of soccer around that area.
Oh, is there?
Just in that inner northern suburbs area. I think there's there's that stadium at Darebin. There's a lot of soccer around there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know that much about it. Every time I
You
drive
just
past.
stopped my AFL career. I'm just going to go back to soccer. But it was. It's honestly great. Like we went to the football last year at Fronius actually and watched one of the Women's World Cup games.
Oh right.
Yeah, that was I'm
Matildas.
obsessed.
Did you go? Was
it was
Matildas?
Tilly's. Yeah.
They're so good to watch.
Mate,
We've
I
mentioned
am
them a few times.
obsessed. Well, I actually fun little fact. So I used to go. Katrina Gorry, who's one of the midfielders, we were in the same Queensland development squad.
Oh really?
Growing up, so we her nickname is Minnie, and we were all in the same little bunk. But I could tell from that day, I was like, oh, she's a gun. Like she is going to go far. And like seeing her represent her country and have children and just be. Yeah, seeing that, it kind of brings a little bit of a tear to your eye because you're just like, when I was playing football, that wasn't the opportunity.
No.
Playing in front of 80,000 people in a women's team and seeing that, definitely chokes you up. You're like, far out. Like that's such a massive accomplishment for not only women's football, but for these women in general. It's a bit of a crazy sort of roundabout feeling with that. But with sport, like it is nice. Like I can understand it. And I know I do have to describe, what's going on. And even last year, Mariella at Fronius, like I was sort of there and Ansari being like, okay, well that's this and that's that and that's.
Oh, you were explaining it to them?
Yeah, explaining soccer and just. I don't know.
Are you explaining soccer to them?
Yeah, I was explaining soccer.
All right. I thought they would have known a bit more about soccer from Europe.
Well, I think Ansari especially, like he's like, I only know cricket. I was like, that's
fair
fair.
enough.
That's
Okay.
fair. And Marielle, I just don't think really sort of followed football.
Yeah.
Which, I get is crazy. Like you got the Euros on at the moment
that's
and they're going off. But luckily with football and like that kind of like more blokey culture, as I said, like I feel like I can sort of fill in the gap sometimes and not seem too.
Yeah, you just when you go, if you go to what I just say to people, if you go to a game, you want to fit in. Just you see someone tackle someone, just yell ball.
Yeah,
and everyone will be like, oh, geez, they know what they're talking about.
Oh man, well I think I went to go see Carlton versus West Coast last year. And everyone was like, go the Baggers, and I was like, what's the Baggers?
What's the Baggers?
Yeah, so I was like looking it up. It's like a laundry detergent sort of back term, and I was like, what is this AFL going on? But
there's some interesting terms in AFL. I still don't know how. So I go for Essendon. I don't know how they're like the Bombers, right?
Yeah.
It's not really politically correct.
Yeah.
Well, it's all from wartime and it's about like
Bombs.
a plane bombing.
Yeah.
Anyway, not that I mean, whatever. I've grown up with it and it is what it is.
Yeah. Sometimes you just come like cognitively like dissonant to it. You're like, it's fine, it's just a name.
Well, you look at some of the American teams that have had to change their names.
Yeah, like the Chiefs and that, isn't
it? Yeah. Like the Indians and the Redskins and all those that used to be. Yeah, like they've changed their name because.
Which I mean, fair.
For sure it is. For sure it is. Anyway, matter of time, I think, before they'll change that. But anyway, may not be in my lifetime. All right, cool. All right, we've digressed a little bit, but that's okay.
I was about to go. That's my bad, mate.
No, that's all good. No worries. All right, we'll go to our second ad break, and we'll be back to wrap the show up and talk about a little bit of interesting news. I don't think there's been a whole lot this week again, especially in the small scale side of things. But we'll go hear from our sponsors again from Radio Carrum. All that to wrap the show up. Coming right up. Okay, we are back. Thanks again to our sponsors from Radio Carrum and everything that you do. All right, Lauren. So we're back from another little break here. It's actually quite nice now. The sun's come
I was
out.
about to say, a little bit of blue sky. Happy
Yeah,
days.
how good. Got to love that at this time of year.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's still freezing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's good. All right. I want to ask you, are you a solar sidekick or a solar superhero? Now, there's a lot of pressure on this question.
There
Because
is.
I now scrutinise any answer, and if I don't agree with it, I'm just going to, I'll either push you to change your mind or I want you to justify it. So, solar superhero or solar sidekick? Where are you?
Ooh, I was thinking about this last night. Honestly, I was thinking of a different adaptation to the answer because, first thing that came to my mind was like, I feel like I'm a bit of a solar, emotional support dog. If anything, I sort of, I go by the leaders in the industry and, I sort of look there and I'm like, okay, I just want to sort of be involved a little bit.
Maybe I should add that as an option. Solar support
and
dog.
or.
Yeah.
But no, like, it's mostly just, I love dogs. But it's honestly, if I do have a bit of a reflection, I'm definitely a solar sidekick at this point.
Yep.
But in saying that, there is this sort of burning sensation to be a I'm going to say superstar. It's like I'm on The Voice. No, but like, there is that sort of sense where you want to be that superhero.
Yeah.
There's always that drive for it, but I just think for now, in a very humble aspect of where I'm at in my career, I'm, a sidekick, and there's so much that I'm learning every single day and taking on board. And I know I'm never going to be perfect. I don't think anybody ever will be.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing. Like if you, this is actually something that's always stuck in my head, but if you're the smartest in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Wrong room, yeah.
That's exactly it. So for me, for now, I'll be a sidekick. I think I'd be pretty damn good sidekick.
Yeah.
I'd always have you back, that's for sure. If you need me to get someone, I will. But I think for now, sidekick, but going forward, would love to be a superhero.
Okay, good. All right. That's fine. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. You've got
you
a good
pull it apart if you want, mate.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. I think there will be people who will be listening to this and you will be their superhero.
Oh, bless.
Even hearing this. Well, I think you're providing a lot of inspiration to a lot of young people coming in through the industry and working their way through, it's the business world that we're in. And solar industry is a tough industry and you're doing
Definitely.
it. You're doing it.
Yeah.
You're doing it. And yeah, you've come from, just working just a role as, what would you start as? What were you doing in
Oh gosh! So it was called the CX team, but it was the customer experience team. But I was literally just keying orders most of the time.
Yep.
Like you're just there, you get the inbox, and you're like,
Okay.
all right, cool. They need 26 splices. Awesome.
Yep.
Click.
Yep.
Yeah.
So worked your way from that. I think there's inspiration in that.
can do
Something for
anything.
people. Yeah, well, that's right. Well, there's something for people to look forward to. So
Yeah.
I'd say you're someone's superhero.
Oh, appreciate that, Pat.
No, that's all right. No, that's okay. Now, I wanted to, again, I've been trying to keep a bit of a theme moving into industry news. There's not really much this week. Others may disagree with that.
Yeah. Please phone in if that's the case. Just give us some content.
Yeah, let us. Well, I mean, I had a bit of a look. Again, I think people are still a little bit in hibernation with what's happening. Like, there's definitely jobs happening. The weather's affecting things. If you talk about the data, there's evidence I've heard this week where the numbers are down, which is contrary to what we did here, because everyone knows it's quiet. Not totally quiet. People are, keeping busy and doing things, but numbers are down compared to other years. I think everyone's seeing that, and it sounds like the figures are reflecting that now, which is good because I think everyone thought that the figures were a bit crazy before.
That's exactly it. It's gaslighting yourself, really.
I know.
All I'm hearing is that business is down, but why is Sunwiz telling me? That business is up. So I think it's a very disproportionate ratio of statistics that sometimes go into it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think it's what it's done. I've noticed it's given people this, right in the guts of winter here. So it's given people an opportunity to work on some other things ready for the boom time. I know there's definitely people that are setting themselves ready for a big summer.
Yeah.
We're certainly doing that. We're doing as much as we can in this sort of quiet period to get ready. We've been working a lot of our training content as well, and that's hopefully have a couple extra courses coming out soon. So that's been fun doing that, working on a lot of that sort of stuff. So we've certainly been not as busy doing inspections, but still really busy doing other things.
Yeah, of course.
And looking after sick kids, and
I think as well,
Yeah.
taking advantage of those peaks and troughs and
Yeah.
realizing that that's quite natural in the game. Like everyone's
Yep.
on a roller coaster, all that jazz. But it's like as long as you're taking advantage of some of those troughs that come through and
Yeah.
looking, okay, how can I still steady my business and still have some productivity going into it
yeah,
and diversification? It's as long as you've just. I mean, I don't speak from a retailer or
Yep.
somebody on the roof a
Yeah.
lot of the time, and
I think you see the peaks and troughs as well, though.
Yeah,
like you feel
absolutely.
them at
Yeah.
almost at the same level. Like, I feel like it's supplying equipment. If people aren't selling jobs, you're going to see downturns as well straight away.
That's exactly it. But it's a chance to become critically reflective of how you run your business and how you run your book, and
Yeah,
what other opportunities can you look for. I know a lot of other wholesalers, calling people every 2-3 days saying, mate, they're overstocked on stuff. So they're trying to bring deals here and there and everywhere, which is really enticing people in. But, you're trying to sell product to people who aren't doing installs.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's a
hard,
waste
isn't
of
it?
time, a bit of
Sure.
a wasted call. So let's look at how we can actually make their business better, and whether there's training that needs to go into their sales team or there's training
Yeah.
that needs to go into their, accounting team.
Yeah.
What can we help to get everybody on the same page and building your business to a better strength?
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys do you sort of collaborate much with other supply companies like yourselves? Do you do much, or you don't really?
We don't really like,
You see them at events and stuff, and you say hi, and
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and I always have a good chat to him as well.
Yeah.
There's like, we're all in the same game. So there's not really that ego that's like, oh, we're better than you and blah, blah, blah. Like we all
Yeah.
offer a different service and we all have different, business models that we go upon.
Is it like when you go and vote, right? And then you have the people handing out the things, and then have you noticed they're all really good friends? You see like
Yeah.
Liberal Party, Labor Party, you
what's
see like the
going on
Greens, the Greens, and then like One Nation, and they're all having
Yeah.
a really good chat, and it's like you guys should all hate each
No,
other.
that's exactly it. You should be sitting on a crossbench. You should be over there.
No, they've all got a healthy respect for each other. I think.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
that's the same ethos that we have. You
Yeah.
know, I've always been, I've been taught, never to look down or on another supplier, or what they do is their business. But the thing is, like, I've had situations where I've had to work with other suppliers
Yeah.
because, say, like a last minute, someone's off-grid system has gone down and this has actually happened, and my client's gone, we need this product, but you've got something, and
Yeah.
say like DPA has something. So I reached out to the DPA manager and was like, hey, we need to get this product. I'll come drive to you and like I'll give you this and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And so it's not so it's kind
Like
of
a drug deal sort of
That's
thing.
exactly it. It was in a car park. And it's when we were sort of doing it, we were a bit like, this is a bit dodgy. I'm putting product into the back of your van and then you're driving it up to Castlemaine. I was like, this is a bit odd, but I think it's going beyond that.
Yeah.
We are at the end of the day helping the end client. We're
Helping the industry.
That's exactly it. And we got to come together at certain points, and there's definitely no bad blood, there's no animosity. It's we're all in it to do the same, well, not the same job, but we're there striving for the same goal, hopefully.
Yeah, it seems that way. I think we're all in it together in
Yeah.
the solar industry. And as long as they're doing the right thing, or roughly.
Yeah. Give or take
right-
a bit.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Look, we still got to hustle at some point, but
Yeah.
but the main ethos is like we're here for our clients, and that's the poignant part of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Nice stuff. All right. Well, we might move into some closing comments now. I reckon we're just about the end of the show. It's been a really interesting show.
So we got on a tangent a bit.
No, we don't.
Middle
It seems to
section.
happen. Seems to happen a little bit, but it's good. People, I think they like to decompress a little bit, talk about a few other things. We're all human in this industry.
Yeah, we are.
We are all people just trying our best, and I think people relate to that. People like it.
I do like the human connection. Like, I do got to give full props to what this podcast does bring, and a different element that, I know that we all can get together and talk solar for days.
Yeah.
But there is that opportunity. It's like, okay, what do you beyond solar? And, we are, and you get to, as I was explaining to you in the little break, like you find out different ways to connect with other people that still, atomizes to being in the solar industry
Yep.
and how business runs. And just full props to you, Pat. Like, this is a great podcast. And
Thank you.
yeah.
No, thank you. It's been so good. It's been better than I'd ever imagined it would be. I just thought I'd do it as a bit of fun. Go, I don't know. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
But it's been
You'll be
been
on
so much.
Nova 106.9 soon.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
New disc jockey.
Well, I'm learning so much about people, and learning a lot of stuff about myself too. About ways to do things differently. Connecting with people. it's been good, and hopefully other people are connecting as well. Like I'm still hearing people, previous guests connecting with each other, and they're talking about what happened in the podcast, and they say, I didn't know this about you, and then they've got something in common, and so it's been really cool. It's been a lot of fun, and I think everyone in the solar industry, or most of the people I know, they're all quite open people and willing to share, wanting to learn from other people as well. So like I said in the last podcast, I'm just going to keep doing it and see what happens.
No, please do. I would hate for this to stop. So.
No, I will. And there's going to be the shows will be different too. Like I've got a few coming up where are going to be extremely technical, and so that'll
Please
have.
Don't invite me. Just kidding.
Yeah,
2 more years maybe.
Well, we've I think there's going to be something in it for everyone. So I have had a little bit of feedback from some people saying, if it's not technical, I don't want to listen. And I'm like, well, that's okay. You can listen to the technical ones if you want to.
Yeah.
And then some people are like, well, I don't want to listen to the technical stuff. I'm interested in people's stories and what's happening and connection. So not every episode's going to be for everyone.
Yeah.
And
that's okay.
No, that's I'm absolutely fine with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm enjoying all of them so far. The technical ones, I've really got to think about stuff, and it's harder to make jokes.
Yeah.
It's a bit drier.
We're talking about that DC isolated joke that really goes on.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I've certainly got some more technical ones coming up.
Yeah.
And there'll still be also ones where we're learning about people and what we do in the industry. And one thing I didn't ask yet, sorry. What do you do sort of, we covered a little bit, but what do you do sort of to switch off and your mental health? Like you've mentioned a couple of little things that you do, but like, I don't know, what were you doing on the weekend? What sort of stuff will you get down to? What were you?
It's an array of things, to be honest. First thing is just to breathe.
Yeah.
Like when I go back from work on a Friday afternoon and you sort of, because honestly, sometimes you do have to go to work and you have to have a bit of a mask on.
Yeah.
Some that, things might be going on in your personal life that, we as, business development managers, like, we are constantly pressured by success and
that's right.
delivering, and we've got to get everything right, and you've got to put on your best face forward. So get back and sort of just take that little mask off. But in saying that, like, I enjoy what I do, but it is honestly sitting down, listening to a little bit ambient music, just to sort of let my thoughts calm down a little bit.
Yep.
And then on the weekend, it's usually, try and get into a little bit of yoga. Just got myself a bike, so just, riding around for a little bit, and honestly, seeing a little bit of nature. I'm pretty fortunate in my job that I get to drive around a lot, and I do see a lot of the Victorian state, but seeing that from a recreational way versus I got to get to this meeting in 25 minutes and you're just zooming. It's really just making sure that I enjoy the little things coming into life, and really just taking a moment to breathe, speak to my family, speak to my friends, really engage back with them, because usually during the week it's just go, work, like your head's quite entrenched in it.
Yep.
Just on the weekend, just making sure that you can relax a little bit. As I said before, I love a good cheeky wine and going out for a feed and trying a new little restaurant if I can. Getting to a little music festival if I get the chance to, like, once again, love it. And that fills me, just having that opportunity to dance and just get everything out of my body. And it sort of resets you for a little bit. That's definitely what I try and do. And just make sure that I can still segregate work and life, because I know with some people it can become all consuming. Yeah. And it's, just making sure that you can still detach from that a little bit. I've been thinking
about this recently, and I think some people do just switch off totally, and that's how they decompress. And they're either going hard or they're relaxing, they need that time to do both. I reckon there's also people, I think I fall into this category, where I'll never fully turn off. Yeah. But when I because I feel like I'll be more productive if I just have a little bit of an ear to what's going on. So that's why I think I like work trips.
Yeah, okay.
I go on a little work trip, so I get a bit of a break.
Yeah.
But I can still keep in touch with what's going on, and I still need my trip where I do totally turn off every now and then, but I don't need them as much. Yeah. No, that's it. So honestly, that's a good, really a good reflection, because if I go away to like Bendigo and that, I do get a little bit of a difference to what my day-to-day job is. Yeah, just a bit of difference.
Yeah, and you get to experience something different. But then, as you were saying, like, you still have that connectivity between what the industry is doing. But then at the end of that night, everyone gets to switch off a little bit and get on the beers a bit.
Yeah, that's right.
Or a lot. We've seen it.
we sure have. But I think it's just working out what works for you and just running with that.
Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't have to be such a divisive switch on, switch off.
No, it doesn't.
It can just be how do we sort of amalgamate this.
That's kind of where I'm getting at. It doesn't. We don't have to be like it doesn't have to be so on or off, so binary. Like
that's exactly it.
You can blend them in a little bit, and that's how I like to do it. Like I don't mind, if I play cricket on Saturdays.
Yeah.
I'll work Saturday morning sometimes, but I know I've got the Saturday afternoon to sort of switch off.
Yeah, that's exactly. I might still work Sunday afternoon just a little bit, like look at my emails, just get kind of prepped for the week.
Yeah.
But it's not really taking anything out of my sort of mental headspace. It's I'm just watching TV anyway, so why can't I answer a few emails while I have the chance to?
Yeah. No, good stuff. Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad we covered that because I think that's an important thing, mental health and making sure we know what we're doing to keep our brains healthy, and it's really important because speak up, like speak to somebody that you trust, and there's no shame in vulnerability. It's something that we all go through, and I definitely think the more people not so much lean on, but you do have your connections there, and you do have those circles, and if anyone listening to this, and if you're ever having a tough day, please call me. I'm always happy to have a yarn, and I've got two little ears that can take on board anything that you've got to say. Because sometimes you really do just need someone to talk to. That's nice. That's a lovely offer as well. And there's so many people in the industry like you who are willing to sort of do that. Stressful industry again, and a lot of these companies ask a lot of us, and I think we also ask a lot of ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. That's one thing actually. Kathleen from Catch Power now.
Catch Power, yeah.
Yeah, when we were in South Australia, she's like, I can see the whip marks on your back. She's like, I know how. She's like, you can just relax a little bit, Lauren. You just don't have to go as hard. And I'm sort of there looking at my own back being like, how'd you see? Thought I was wearing a few layers. I didn't think I'd get away with that.
Didn't think it'd go through. Yeah.
No, exactly. So, be kind to yourself for sure.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thanks. All right. Okay, well, thanks. I just wanted to we'll probably wrap the show up now. So thanks a lot for coming in. Thanks for making your way out to Carrum.
That's right. The warehouse is only about 20 minutes away. So.
Is it really?
Yeah, off at Hallam.
Oh, it's Hallam, is it? Oh, okay. Oh, it might take you a little bit. On a 25, 30.
Yeah, look, I'm not great with time management.
No. You wouldn't want to leave it another 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
It could turn into a 45-minute trip pretty quick.
Oh, dead set. Okay.
Yeah, Thompson Road gets pretty bad.
Anyway. No. That's how I'm still learning these Melbourne streets, mate.
It can get bad. It can get bad around here.
Yeah.
Depends on what time.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again for coming in, Lauren. Appreciate everything you've offered today. Some great insights to the industry, to bit to your personal life as well, which has been quite intriguing. I appreciate that. It's been really nice to hear, and about your ethics. Great to hear suppliers doing with ethics. It's really good. It's good to hear. No, it's really nice. I hadn't really heard that much about that side of it, so it's really good to hear. Thanks, Ryan, for your question earlier. Can you give us a wave to the camera? Yeah,
Smash it.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks,
All right,
Ryan.
No worries. All right, well,
you,
no worries at all. Now, next week, got another really interesting guest who's going to be doing the rounds a little bit. It's going to be, a really fun chat next week, but it'll be the same time. I don't know when it'll get released. They all seem to be getting released on different days based on how long the editing takes, but it'll be when it will be. So I'm not going to stress on that. But thanks everyone for listening. I really appreciate everyone who's engaged with us on social media or giving us feedback or just saying all the lovely things about the podcast. And I'm going to keep doing them. So thanks very much, and we'll see you on the next episode of Solar Sidekicks. Thank you.
See ya.